Good job.
Is everybody seated? Yes. We'd like to welcome all the alumnus and their guests to our 32nd Alumni Banquet. For the ones that don't know me, I'm Dick West, 1954, the good old blue and white. You got a hand up. You didn't think I went back that far, did you? I'm just going to run through the names of the officers and the year they graduated. Nobody has to stand. Our Executive Director, Kathy Munson Devens, class of 73. President, Donald Bucket John Lee, 56. Vice President, James Colton Hess, class of 53. Secretary, Brandy Billington Lloyd, 92. Treasurer, Margaret Ryan, 79. And Board of Directors, Ann Baker Carey, 57, Rhonda Trombley O'Hagan, 77, Nancy Powers Vesco, 77, and yours truly, 54. At this time, I would like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for the evening, Mr. Paul Green.
Thank you, Dick. Better hold the applause till the end to see if you really think it's worth it.
Did you rest?
But I'm glad to be Master of Ceremonies tonight and to see you all here. We got a good turnout, at least what I think is a good turnout. And we're looking forward. We hope that you enjoy the evening. On behalf of our class, I would like to extend our appreciation to the CCRS Alumni Association. They've been a great group of people to work with, been very helpful all the way along. And I think as alumni, we owe a whole lot to these folks. They work very hard throughout the year, especially this time of year, and I've been privileged to work with them as Master of Ceremonies. The first part is going to be very short, and hopefully the second part will be too. But I'd like to call upon John West to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. During the course of the evening, we're going to be paying special tribute to a special deacon teacher, David Martin. And on your table, you have small cards that invite you to jot down a special memory that you had of David, Mr. Martin, of David, and some special things he did. When I did mine, the special things he did really had nothing to do with the classroom. So if you've got a special thought and you'd like to share it, please jot it down there and give it to Jeannie Lanier, and it will go in the album that we have prepared for tonight. So please give that some thought and pass on your favorite memories of David. Before we start the dinner, I just wanted to make mention that when we do start to eat, the flow will go, of course, start here with the class of 62. And then if you will, just go around and come back up that side. Dick, there may be some food left. Maybe not.
Thank you.
But now I would ask Father Ray to come up and lead us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty and ever-loving God, we gather this evening as we give you thanks for the great gift of Chazy Central Rural School. We thank you for its teachers and staff throughout the year, for all students who have fond memories and joyful experiences throughout their time. We particularly pray this evening for those who graduated last evening and for our alumni, particularly the class of 1962. Bless them, bless us all, bless our food, and always keep us mindful of those less fortunate. For we ask all this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father. While we're having dinner, up there will be some PowerPoint presentations and some things of what it was like back in 1962, and what the sports were and this and that. Also, there's a little 20 question on the history of Chazy Central and Chazy in itself. So see how you do on that. And I thank Bob Cheeseman for that information. Let's eat. Folks, I hope you all enjoyed the meal, and I'd like you to join me with a round of applause for our music. One of the honors that I inherited tonight as Master of Ceremonies was introducing or asking those to stand that were in classes, all classes. And as I set the decade, if you are a class of that decade, please stand and be recognized. I understand there might be somebody here from 1935 to 1940. Is that true? Sure. How about 1941 to 1950? Anybody? 1951 to 1960. Now I know we got folks here from 61 to 70. bit of less response. Anybody in the 90s, 91 to 2000? Got any kids here? Oh, we hope in a few years that they'll be attending these. But thank you all for coming for all these years, and we're glad to have you here. The next honor I have to do is present our classmates. And I would like to ask our class president, Ron Peltier, to come up, please. And I'd ask Ron to say a few words. Class president, Roy's Road heard over us for a while.
I think I've dealt with forward over many people. I was counting them all. But we had a great time. A number of us were right from the beginning. And making sure that we did as much as we could without getting in trouble for it. And then helping each other get out of it again. But the school was still standing at least when we left. The new people have done. We had a great time. I think everybody helped each other as much as possible. And we also had a good time in sports and helping everybody become as much as he could himself, which is our motto. And I can talk about myself, talk about little dollars, but nobody else really cared. I did have one interesting circumstance when I decided to teach school on Alumni. And I arrived for the opening day, and I had gone through the interviews and everything, and visited the campuses and stuff. And when I walked in, the attendance officer met me, and he thought that I was one of the students, science or something like that. But he said, wait over here, past that doorway. So I did, and my job. And I'm standing there waiting and waiting, and all of a sudden, the music is starting down in the hall. And I couldn't figure out why that was happening when I was the only person standing there. And then I realized, I started concentrating on it, our alma mater. They were playing the reception for me, and around the corner came the music instructor with a little boy in each hand, and we were trying to run as quickly as possible. Their parents came around the corner, and their father had been a baby with my mother used to babysit, Chazy, and they thought they'd come down the corner. I don't believe it. How did you cut me down? He said, the minute I saw that name on paper come across as a new teacher there, that I knew who it was. So he said, I brought my own set of twins, not just two. And we had a great time there. Nicholas in charge of the music, and had a great time. We had a wonderful opportunity to learn from 3 teachers and basically complementing music. And I enjoyed it very, very much. And I decided not to continue after the 5-year contract, but rather to even though it's a small town,
to present the members of our class, and as they come up, I'd ask that you stay up here so that I know somebody that wants to take a picture, and maybe more than one, those of us that are assembled here today. And in these glasses is a napkin from Barb Hendricks Conklin that you may see on your table. It says, "Welcome, Chazy, Crazy, the class of '62, love Barb. She so wished she could be here, having some medical issues." And also in there, thanks to the Alumni Association, is a 50-year pin for each of us. So Ron, as I read the names, if you would present these first to Larry Barco. Edgerton Deal. Janice Miller Butler. Gail Lewis Pastine. Cecile Bedard Denton. Shirley Jeanette Christopherson. I know Shirley's out in Montana now. I've talked to her several times. Could not make it. Barb Hendricks Conklin. Incidentally, Bob Lapeer has been around the movie cameras, and these images that he was able to capture and anything else will be sent to Barb and Bunny and anybody else that is interested to know what's going on this weekend. Patricia Gray Cologne. Linda Trombley Farrell. Audrey Lucas Holmes. Jeannie Hausdorff Lanier. Bob Lapeer. Nancy Bosworth Lapeer. Linda Dragoon Mason. Phil Olin. Bob Peltier. To yourself, Ron. Doris Thibault Rankin. Beverly West Ruggiero had planned on being here, I know, and really counted on it, but her husband Ralph was having some medical issues, so she couldn't join us. Donna Ganya Waitman. Gloria Lapeer Winterbottom. Prudence Sweet Withall. And myself, Paul Green. When we met, I believe it was 10 years ago, we considered ourselves very, very fortunate that our entire class was still alive. Fortunately, that's not the case at this point. We have lost 5 tremendous and loved members, and I'd like to ask Bob Felter to come up and lead that tribute.
What did you say? Do I need to use the telephone? My telephone doesn't work here. Sorry to say. Can you hear me in the back? Or should I use the microphone? Will someone come up and adjust this one? I think this will probably do. How's that?
Speak into it.
I think this will probably
That's
do.
what it takes to be a champ.
I'm probably one of the most fortunate people in this room. Because the rest of the class members are much older than I am. And I really appreciate the patience that they had with me, trying to get me to do the right things. So I want to thank the class for that. A couple of other things. I haven't spent very much time in Chazy. Been traveling around in other locations, whatever. But the one thing I always did say was that Chazy was my home. And, of course, how many people other than Chazyites know where Chazy is? So, I still refuse to say 50 miles south of Montreal or 172 miles north of Alumni. Chazy's a great place. Enjoy it. The other thing that I would like to do is to thank the Alumni Committee, Paul, and all the folks that put this together, so that we have the opportunity to meet new acquaintances, meet old friends, and reestablish our camaraderie, and that I appreciate. And sometimes it feels like it's only yesterday, 50 years ago, that we were looking for our big day. And I know there are several big days in our lives, but that big day was graduating from Chazy Central Rural School. I'm deviating a little bit from what is written, but trying to make it a little easier for us. And we really didn't have much insight into the twists and turns that we were going to go through that would take us down that path for our life's destiny. We were really no different than any other graduate in Chazy. We just happened to be the class of 62. We were anxious to hit those highways, and some of the byways, those are the dirt roads that we had to travel. Some to school, some off to explore. Some to family life, and others straight into the working environment. Each to put that individual imprint on this biosphere. For many of us,
it has taken much longer. And to leave that imprint, while others of the class of '62 didn't take as long. Sharing themselves with us, these classmates have left an indelible imprint in their own special way. Mary Deal Lattimore, what a team player. Loved life, loved family, and routinely put others ahead of herself. Virginia Bosworth Payne. Quiet, thoughtful, and a bit mischievous under that cloak of shyness. Joy Dupree Valero. Sincere, focused, and a true fighter for life. Jim Larney loved this balance, always available to help anyone, and was the pig roaster root for years. I know, when I used to come up, he'd say, I have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, no more beer. We all know that was a lie. Owen Barkman, hard worker, thoughtful, and enjoyed returning to the North Country. In our memories, in our hearts, never to be forgotten. Class of '62. Thank you, Bob. You will remember last day. You remember ours, it was 50 years ago. There's a lot of things I don't remember from yesterday. Most of us will remember our class day. And one of the highlights, one of the things that's done year after year, I don't know if it's still done now or not, are the class prophecies. And we have. And I would like to ask Dan Miller Butler and associates to come up and revisit the prophecies. Yeah. If that mic comes out, remember I took it out.
We do not pretend to be clever gypsies, but the future tickles our curiosities. So let's waste no more time, let's rouse this old sphere and reveal what she tells as events that draw near.
The crystal ball upon graduation was consulted to predict, make a revelation. Into the future, we would get a glimpse of each of our lives. Lo, sight likely correct. To see how we fared from the past to the present, we share moments in time that represent years gone by, merely fleeting reflections. Let's ponder a moment at our newfound perfection.
Here comes Larry, oh good grief. He's cutting hair from an Indian chief. Now the tables are turned, and what's this we see? The first barber to be scalped and free.
Fast forwarding 50 years in time, we see Larry certainly not past his prime. He ended up being a barber for sure, but also dabbled in other careers galore.
Now Donna Gagno lost no time. She's now manager of the Five and Dime. The orders she dictates will give you a jerk if she uses a bullwhip to make her looks work.
Loyal to the North Country at Eris for years, Donna worked diligently through good times and tears. She has since retired to the Sunshine State, returning summers for occasional family dates.
We thought we'd see Linda with horses galore, but now it is clear what makes her back sore. She's scrubbing away, for you see she is wet, and has taken up raising little Peltiers instead.
A lady of the community in uniform dress, Linda would be known as Port Kent's mistress. She has since retired and enjoys pandemonium with Bill at their Sarasota tin can demonium.
And here comes Jeannie into view, bidding Plattsburgh a joyful adieu. She's finally succeeded in fulfilling her dreams, for now she's Bob's barefooted baby machine.
3 degrees and a teaching certificate later led Jeannie to a child center, rewarding career. In Sunshine State, she prefers to play, if not among children, than dolphins in the bay.
Looking now, oh my lord, there's a big round Ron at the board. He's wrapped up in figures in more than one way, for he's out with a new chick most every day.
Ron's career has been very diverse, from figures to design in the Department of Commerce. Look at him now, living in Cornucopia, an artist of fame, working for Oprah.
Janice Miller is typing away, learning her P's and Q's in a fashionable way. And later on the farm, when she's doing her planting, she will remember the fun at dear old Canton.
Janice Miller, a.k.a. Jan, a lawyer wannabe, decided instead to manage many an attorney. She married Dave, and 46 years later, no longer wants to be planting any acres.
Looking deeper into the crystal ball, we see Tootie taking a fall. Was she struck by a wooden mill? No, Mr. Dependence here, that's all.
The crystal ball is now revealing that Tootie produced 3 little rankings. First she stayed at home and then hosted at store, but now leaves it all for winners at the shore.
Now there's Nancy skating over the hill. She must be taking vitamin pills. She won't run up many bills because her pharmacist will give her cheap refills.
Nancy's accustomed to Bobby's knee. They remained each other's best company. While she managed to seal him away, another's crush on her beau would soon fade away.
Is that Bobby Lapierre we see? Yes, and there's Nancy B on his knee. The look on his face is pure delight. Bob's getting married tomorrow night.
A local pharmacist would be needed indeed to purchase the Musa pharmacy. Bob was a man who was up to the challenge, serviced 30-plus years with pharmacology talent.
Who's that, you say? Why, it's Paul Green, the best mathematician the world's ever seen. His present problem involves very profound thought. He's calculating all the beer that the sailors have bought.
As for Paul Green, our wizard of math, he excelled in Cornell from New York Pack, completed U.S. Navy tours of duty, and attended North Country Orchard after Orchard of Beauty.
Robert Peltier is another senior man who does his job as best he can. After he's finished with his high school courses, he'll spend his life caring for dragoons' horses.
Bob gave the military a large part of his life. Then the Department of Defense stepped up to take their slice. He has traveled hither and yon and back again, but a stress-free life is now his regimen.
Another in the class is Charles Edgerton Beale, who is around here a really big deal. Stand aside, kids. Get out of the way, boy. Make room for Edge, Chazy's future playboy.
Now looking at Edge and his illustrious career, from reading livestock reports to attorney of the year. Doesn't surprise our classmates or the ball, for his original prophecy told it all.
Now that our curiosities are satisfied, we wonder if perhaps the old sphere has lied. But ponder as we may, the answer is lost and cannot be purchased at any cost. For the future is priceless and refuses to wait. As we view new horizons, we must separate.
As to the fate of the crystal ball that predicted the future of one and all, we've learned over the years that what goes round simply alternates between before and background. Each challenge is met with a reward in time. Each flower that blossoms is passed down the line to a new class of matriculates, surely to be, when graduated, a reflection of you and me. One other thing I'd like to add, that I didn't write all this. My good friend Carol, who contacted a lot of our classmates for one of my birthday celebrations, had a big, big hand in it. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you very much, Jan and Nancy. They took that, Janice took that project months ago, and we just produced what you saw tonight. Great job. Thank you very much. We have the opportunity tonight to acknowledge an individual who has had a profound influence on many of our lives, at least those in the range of the time that he was at our school. And that, of course, is David Martin. And I'd like to ask Jeannie and Nina to come up and do that tribute. Thank you.
My shoes off so I can get closer to the mic, because I know there's some folks back there aren't hearing all this stuff. As we get older, our senses sort of dim a little bit. First of all, I would like to thank my great buddy here, Paul. Paul did so much for this reunion, and I can't imagine how we would have done it. I mean, everybody else was in Florida. And we want to thank Sis for letting us borrow him for all this time and all the time it took away from you. So thank you. And it's a real pleasure to be here with all of you. Of course, at our ages, it's a real pleasure to be anywhere. So I have a sign in my house. It's probably some of you have the same thing. It says Lake Champlain. If you're lucky enough to be by the lake, you're lucky enough. Well, my philosophy is, if you're lucky enough to be in David Martin's class, you are lucky enough, because I can't use any expletives here, but he was the best teacher ever, and I've had a lot of them in all of the years that I've been educated. And I would just like to say thank you, David. I know you're a humble person, so I'm trying very hard not to gush. But I know that in the years that I've been teaching, you have influenced almost everything I've done. When I taught high school, in a regular high school, and I had my special ed kids, none of them had ever had the opportunity to perform on the stage, and they had quite a dynamic drama group there, and they put on some fabulous programs, but none of the special ed kids had even been in the auditorium to watch them, let alone be on the stage themselves. And I convinced the principal that these kids deserve to have a chance to shine, and I took a lot of what you taught us and all the patience that you had with us when we put together those plays, how you directed us, and put together a play for my special ed kids and invited all the people from the district and all the principal and the assistant principals, and those kids just had a blast, and really it improved their self-esteem more than probably anything. And so much of what I did came from how you inspired me. And one summer when I taught students that were felons, they were court-ordered to be there, we read Gulliver's Travels together, and those kids learned what satire was about. And you were with me that whole summer with those kids that were pretty tough kids, but going to class every day was the highlight of their day because it was a residential facility, and otherwise they had to work hard. But I think I have so many memories because our families live close together, and watching little baby Ann and babysitting her when she was in the dresser drawer under the tree down by the lake when you went sailing. I mean, it was such a privilege. When you moved into Grey Gables, we knew some very special people. Pat and Dave Martin were part of our lives, and it was a great experience for those of us who knew them personally, and exceptional experience also for those of us who were in his class. The patience, the encouragement, the creativity. I know with the poetry I've written, I never could have written if he hadn't said, those are too many words. You've got to cut them back. Write what you want to write in the fewest possible words that you can to make it a better poem, to write better. Don't blither. Don't put in all those extra words you don't need. And that always stuck in my head and helped me so much. And I think that all the papers that we all wrote in college, or all the things that we've had to write in our daily lives, whether they were letters or whatever, were influenced by how David taught us how to write. And so I would like to thank David and Pat for being here with us tonight. And it just so happens that this is David's 79th birthday today. So I would like to take this opportunity to sing happy birthday, if everybody would join in. I know he's embarrassed already. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear David. Happy birthday to you. We have a couple of gifts for you, and we just again want to say from all of our hearts, thank you for being such an inspiration and touching our lives in such a positive way. Thank you. Yeah, the senses are dimming up here too. If there's anybody here tonight who would like to stand up and talk about David Martin, any special memories, we have been collecting cards with memories for his gift. But if there's anybody that wants to stand up and say anything, please feel free. This is your moment.
I couldn't talk or even set it Well, could I just say,
Absolutely. I was
Pat and I were blessed when we woke up and found ourselves in Chazy, and we were blessed with all our classes, but I've got to say a special thanks to the wonderful people of 62.
Thank you very much. I'm going to just, a thought occurred to me last night, other than I was hotter than a devil at graduation. And At graduation last night in quote-unquote little town of Chazy, there was almost $374,000 in scholarships given out to a little more than 30 graduates. And of course, some were large, some were small, but $373,000 because of teachers like David Martin.
And he even has a scholarship in his name that was given.
Yes, and there was a scholarship in David Martin's name given to a senior, and I guess that reoccurs
For
every year.
independent thinking.
Independent thinking. And that was kind of a hallmark of David's, he made us think independently. And we appreciate that, but for all these students to be able to earn these kind of scholarships, of course we thank the donors, but mainly we thank the teachers that have led us 50 years ago and continue to lead, and the teachers that are in the staff now that create the kind of students that can go on to either work or further education and have a little bit of a nest egg to go with. David, on behalf of all of us, and you on behalf of the teaching profession, we thank you. In 1962, there was a senior, it wasn't all senior, there was a girls' sextet. And I don't know how long that continued, I don't know if there still is. But in 1962 there was, and they did a great job. I can remember them performing on television on Channel 5 when it was on the second floor of McMartin's Motors. It was so early. But they were 6 beautiful and very talented girls, and we're fortunate to have 2 of them with us. We had 4 that were of that sextet, and I'd like to just tell you who the whole sextet comprised. Was Jeannie Halsdorf, Bunny West, Linda Dragoon, Janet Beal, her sister, Donna Brothers, and Prudence Sweet. Prudence couldn't be with us tonight. But as you see up there, our class song was "No Man is an Island," and I'd like to ask the 2 members of the sextet that were there then and are here now to come up and lead all of us, and it's in your program, the words are in your program. They don't know it yet, but they'll be singing the first 2 verses. And then we'll join in the rest, accompanied by George. essentially ends our portion of the program. But I hope that you've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed doing it for you. We probably won't be doing it again in 50 years. But it's been fun, and I really want to thank those classmates that have helped me with this. And there's been substantial amounts of help. I'm not going to name them because there's a whole group. But I will say that in the last couple of months, we've kind of had an email, everything short of a conference call, and help guiding us through this. And I also want to thank again the Alumni Association for this opportunity. And particularly Dick West. Dick has been the go-to guy who I've gone to 100 times, as Niall will attest, to find out where to go to. And we've been able to put it on because of Dick and the committee, and we're very grateful. I now would ask Dick to come up for the awards, and this ends our section of the program, and I would thank you very much for your attention.
Sure, do it. As we all know, our alumnus of the year is John West. John grew up in Chazy. He was born in 1921. He attended all his 12 grades at CCRS. From then he went on and graduated from Agricultural and Technical Institute in Delhi, New York. And after that he was in the building construction. 1942, he enlisted in the U.S. Navy. He worked on the construction battalion, what is known as the Seabees. He spent 13 months in Alaska. From about 1945 to 67, he worked at the mason trade in the Clinton County area. He was president of the Bricklayers Union on the local Plattsburgh Union. During the late 60s and 70s, he was the architect's representative for the construction of our new Chazy Central School. And shortly after that, he was inspector for the building and the student union building in Plattsburgh. He became executive director of the Clinton County chapter of the ARC, and he was enrolled at SUNY College at Oswego to study vocational education. He graduated from Oswego with a BS in vocational education. He embarked on a new career as masonry instructor at BOCES in Dutchess County. He retired from teaching in 1983. Years ago, before that, he was married to his wife, Peg. They lived many years in Chazy, and they raised 7 children. 7 of them attended CCRS, and the youngest graduated from Hyde Park area because they had moved down there. He was always strong in civic duty. He was very active in his local community and participated in many organizations. During his years in Chazy, he served as a town councilman for 8 years. He was active in the Chazy Legion and the Plattsburgh VFW, and is past commander of both organizations. He was a charter member of the Chazy Chamber of Commerce. He was very active in the Men's Club, the Youth Commission, and the Sacred Heart Church. And he was also involved with the Clinton County Boy Scout Council. He was an original member of the Clinton Community College Board of Trustees. He is a past president of Clinton County ARC Directors. As we all enjoy our old home day in Chazy, most of us don't realize that in 1966, we had a tricentennial celebration in Chazy. John was one of the major organizers of that group. Our old home day, as we know it today, is a follow-up of that tricentennial celebration. John was one of the people that helped organize our Chazy Rec Park. John is one of 10 children in his family to attend CCRS. 9 of them graduated from CCRS. Uncle John, will you please come up? Uncle John, it is my pleasure to be able to award you with this plaque for all your service to Chazy, and it says John B. West, Class of 1940, Alumnus of the Year, presented by the Alumni Association of Chazy Central Rural School, June 23rd, 2012. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for helping me achieve this award. Everybody's had a little part of it, especially my family and the community. It's been great to live this long and to come back and receive this honor. I appreciate it, and I thank everyone.
If Obama had the support that he has, he wouldn't have a problem in the world, would he? On June 5th of this year, Uncle John had his 91st birthday. I would now like to call Nancy Powers Vestal to make other award.
After high school, he went to barber school, met his wife Vesta, and will be celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary this year. He has 4 children and 6 grandchildren. Along with running the family farm, he has been a member of the CCRS Board of Education, serving as president for 4 years, on the CBES BOCES Board of Education for 50 years, and president for the past 15 years. He has been a member of the Fraternal Order of the Free and Accepted Masons for 41 years, elected town councilman for the town of Champlain for 2 years, then elected as town supervisor and currently holds that position. It is my pleasure to present this year's Alumni Service Award to Mr. Larry Barkley.
What can I say? Thank you all. When the newsletter went out, I read most of it. My wife read all of it. He told me it was in there that I was getting an award. I did not know it. Total surprise. As far as my service to, I think you just quoted one thing. You said 50 years. I think you said. I'm not quite that. That's a long time, 50 years. My service to the Chazy School Board, I cherished. I was president for 4 years. CV Tech Board, Champlain Valley Education Services Board, CV Tech is part of that. I've been there 20 years, 15 years as president, still president. I don't think there's any greater thing or achievement in my life, other than family probably, than serving the people through education and encouraging people to get a better education. It's just been my desire. I don't know how long I'll go on. I'm not just starting another 3-year term on BOCES, but I enjoy it. I thank my wife for letting me out all those evenings. She gives me a permission slip every time I go home. But I thank you all for that and for for consideration. Thank you.
For those of you who weren't there last night, at graduation, the Chazy Central Rural School Alumni Scholarship awarded, the Alumni Association awarded a scholarship to Abby Ledoux for $1,000. And we appreciate everybody who gives money towards that. It really does help, and the kids do appreciate it. The superintendent of the school was not able to be here tonight, but he did send a letter, so I will read that for you. Dear fellow alumni, I am sorry that I cannot be here with you tonight for the Chazy Central Rural Alumni Association annual banquet. Unfortunately, this year's banquet falls on my wife's birthday. Therefore, I am celebrating with my immediate family rather than my Chazy alumni family. During the last school year, Chazy Central Rural School has continued to be a shining star among the schools in the area. We were recognized in several different ways for our outstanding academic success. Business First, a magazine from the Buffalo area, ranked Chazy as the 44th best school in upstate New York. This was based on state test results and graduation rates in comparison with approximately 450 school districts. For the North Country region, we were ranked number 1. This report was followed by the State Education Department nominating Chazy Elementary School to the United States Department of Education for recognition as a Blue Ribbon School for academic excellence. To be recommended for this award, a school must perform at the 85th percentile or better on all of the state tests. It is a challenge for a school to be in the top 15% on any test, let alone have that performance level on all of the tests. Final determination for this award will be made by the United States Department of Education after this year's tests have been reported. Right now, we are one of 11 elementary schools in New York State that have met the criteria to be nominated. If this year's test results are similar to the previous years, then later this year we will be able to state that we are a Blue Ribbon school. The successes in Chazy this past year were not limited to academic performance and recognitions. Both of our soccer teams again advanced to the state Final Four. The girls team captured their second state championship in a row, while the boys finished second. During the winter, our boys and girls hockey teams, playing as merged teams under the Beatontown banner, had very successful seasons. The girls finished the season with a loss to Potsdam in the state championship game. Our Key Club was recognized by the Woodman of the World for the club's outstanding efforts to support charitable causes in the area. During the year, our students assisted many outside organizations in their efforts to improve the quality of life in the North Country. The Chazy Model United Nations Club was involved in local and regional events that provided opportunities for our students to learn about how the United Nations operates. As in past years, our students were among the best prepared and also demonstrated the ability to speak in public, a skill that has been a critical part of the Chazy school culture for many years. This year was not without its challenges. The continued financial difficulties at the state and national levels made developing a school budget a tremendous challenge. With reduced enrollment compounding the financial crisis, the Board of Education was faced with difficult decisions in order to meet the educational needs of students while remaining keenly aware of the challenges that taxpayers are facing. In order to stay under the tax cap created by New York State, our budget required cuts in many areas. I believe that the budget that was overwhelmingly supported by the community created the balance between programs and costs that were necessary. There were cuts made, many that are still extremely painful in all areas of the budget. The financial challenges will most likely continue for a few more years. Hopefully the steps taken this year and over the past several years have positioned Chazy well for this continuing challenge. Chazy Central Rural School has a school culture unlike any other school. Tradition, respect, and community all mean something at Chazy. These values, when combined with a community that continues to value and support a strong educational program, add to the culture of success. A strong faculty and staff focused on carrying out our mission of educating children to become productive members of society provide the final component of our school culture. I am honored and humbled to be a part of the tradition of excellence at Chazy. Where the future will take us or our students, no one knows. But I do know that Chazy will continue to soar. What else would an eagle do? Sincerely, John Toby Fairchild, CCRS, class of 1977.
Before I get started, I want to call your attention to this beautiful painting back here. That's a number of years ago. That's Nyla and I were their firstborn daughter, Jill. Milton Barnes, you don't believe me? Anybody that attends Mass over here at Sacred Heart Church, Father Moreau, you'll be all ready to go. And he'll stand up there and he says, I have a few announcements to make. Well, 15 minutes later, you probably get to go home. So, I have a few announcements to make. One is that the flowers, anybody can take, but we want the bowls because they're going to reuse them. Also, anybody that takes the vases or the stands, either return them to me or to Nancy Vestal. But the flowers are open market.
Don't take the stands there. Do not take the
No, don't take just the flowers. Yeah, don't take the stands. She's going to be happy. I have a few thank yous to make, and at the head of the list is a young lady, Jane Fulton Hess. If you've been to any of the alumni tea in the last close to 20 years, Jane is the one that puts this on. Now, it's called an alumni tea, but we have soda and cookies and stuff. A couple of years ago, a gentleman picked us up on that. He says, you can't call that an alumni tea. It's more of a social. So, for the past 5 years, Bob Cheeseman and I, we wait till everybody's gone. We got a little tea bag, and we heat up the water and dip it in. And we share the cup of tea. So it's officially a cup of tea. I mean, yeah, it's a tea. Thank you, Jane. Also, we'd like to thank the Board of Directors of the Alice T. Minor Museum for allowing us to use the facilities for our festivity. Also in there is Amanda Palmer, the curator of the Alice T. Minor Museum. She's such a great host. She does well. Oh, sure. Father Moreau for allowing us to use the hall. And Sandy's Deli, the caterers for this evening's meal. I'm sure you can hear, Sandy, that's for you and your group. Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone involved in the Alumni Association activities. I can't go on to name them all. George and Wilbur for the music. And also a young lady that puts up with me. Sometimes she thinks I spend too much time on the alumni work, but Nyla, thank you. I just got one more page. Oh, in the past 20 years, our little alumni association. Now this is just in the past 20 years. We had about 12 years before that. I bet you can't guess how much money this little group has given to scholarships for the young graduates. This is just the last 20 years. We have given over $45,000 in alumni scholarships. And I think that that is tremendous coming from this little group.
When we first organized, we were told we wouldn't last 5 years. Well, by golly, we did it. Oh, one other thing. This goes to the scholarships. This year, we had a 90-year-old alumnus give to the scholarship fund and her sister's name. Her sister just passed away in September, was 96 years old. The sister graduated in 1932, and the younger sister that gave the scholarship graduated in 1939. See who? No, I'm not that old. I just want to call to your attention a group of young ladies, nothing to do with the school, but they played hockey under the name of Chazy. I think it was called the U19, which means you have to be under 19 years of age to play. In the league that they were in, they won the New York State Championship. From there, they were eligible to go on to the national championship. Now this is from all through the United States. Those little buggers went down there and they came in 5th in the United States. Now I think that's quite an accomplishment for a group of young girls playing under the name of Chazy. I think that this about winds up our program for the evening. And it's been our custom to always sing God Bless America. God Bless America was written in 1918 and was put on a shelf and didn't come out until 1938 till Kate Smith made it famous. And there's a verse to it, and then there's a chorus that we all sing. So I'd just like to repeat the verse. It's like a prayer. While storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us pledge allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. Please stand, we'll sing. God bless America. Stand beside her and guide her through the night till the light from above. From the mountain to the prairie to the ocean, what would fall? God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. Thank you all for coming. You don't have to hurry away. Thank you. Stay and visit.